I'm going to be showing you in autistic detail the step-by-step process of a recently devised method of mine to facilitate nasal breathing. That will be a little bit later in this video, but I do want to make a very bold promise to you that I'm going to deliver on, which is the following. If you are currently somebody who is using nasal strips either frequently or merely periodically, this method that I'm going to be showing you, I've got it all on my tabletop right now, is going to make everything you've ever tried pale in comparison. And this will be immediately obvious when you actually do it. This will be vastly superior to anything you've ever tried and is going to save you hundreds, possibly thousands of dollars over your lifetime. And I mean that literally. For every night that you would spend on conventional nasal strips, you would basically get 59 free nights using this method. So what typically you would pay for one night, you basically get a 2-month supply using this method. And I'm really passionate about this. It's something that I recently discovered about a month ago after years of trial and error. And if you're new to my channel, you've never seen my face before, my name is Jason and my background is in healthcare. In 2018, I graduated from university with a doctorate degree in pharmacy, and my passion is self-actualization and just paying forward the greatest possible insights to you that helps me become just more at ease with myself and more effective in this life. And what I'd like to share with you is frankly just a couple of pictures from my childhood, from my adolescence. And so one of the reasons I'm so passionate about nasal breathing is the fact that I actually couldn't do this when I had an incredibly overclocked immune system and I was allergic to everything under the sun. I was also diagnosed with a rare, apparently incurable disease called eosinophilic esophagitis. That was in 2009. I did also want to share with you in March of 2020, I was actually diagnosed with sleep apnea. I had an apnea-hypopnea index of 16.7. This was a time that I was transitioning out of a 3-year long-term live-in relationship wherein I was sharing my bedroom with my live-in girlfriend at the time. And this time here in March was a time where I was just getting back on my feet and I was really re-examining a lot of the things in my life that quite frankly had fallen to the wayside, just getting lost in the midst of that relationship. And my sleep hygiene was among those. And what I'd like to share with you is how I went from being diagnosed with sleep apnea using a CPAP machine, as you see here, to consistently getting sleep scores like this. This was May 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th, just so you can see the consistency of my high quality sleep, my low resting heart rate, the paucity of awakenings, just a very stable sleep with a high heart rate variability and a very high sleep efficiency. For what it's worth, it is 6:26 a.m. right now. I woke up at actually 3:50 this morning without an alarm, feeling incredibly good. I never drink coffee or any caffeinated beverages and no energy drinks. I just get a very deep night of restorative sleep, and I really wish the same for you because sleep apnea is incredibly prevalent. And so if not for the aesthetic benefits that necessitating nasal breathing gives rise to, as depicted by this graphic here, which quite frankly is more pronounced during adolescence, during development, as opposed to adulthood, my real passion for nasal breathing comes from just how good I feel. I mean, this is night and day difference. And I wish more people knew about this because quite frankly, sleep apnea, in my estimation, is the most insidious, the so-called silent killer. You're going to be spending between 1/4 and 1/3 of your life in this inherently unconscious state that is sleep. And the truth is that you don't know what you don't know. And according to these statistics here, 1 billion people suffer from sleep apnea worldwide. And to be honest with you, most of those people aren't even aware of it. They haven't even been diagnosed. And so here are some of the conventional methods to alleviate nasal congestion and by extension facilitate nasal breathing, many of which, even as a pharmacist myself, I'm quite frankly not a fan of because they're not exactly sniper rifles. My personal bias, and I'll be very open about this, is a minimalist approach, the fact that less is more. And I don't like the idea of unnecessarily introducing entropy, not least of which phenylephrine, Afrin, which is the brand name for oxymetazoline, Mucinex, and Flonase, which is fluticasone propionate. Look, these aren't toxic poisons that are going to kill you, but it's just the case that if you don't address the underlying issue, when you take these sort of nasal decongestants, they precisely disincentivize you from actually elucidating and addressing the root cause. And if you're curious about how to do that, I have a video about the 3 steps to detoxifying from seed oils, and that is absolutely instrumental to turning the dial down on your ostensibly overclocked immune system. I'm a huge fan of ceramic neti pots as opposed to the conventional plastic ones that are often sold. I think this is a really great natural method that I used to use to alleviate my own nasal congestion. Not something that I currently need now, but is definitely something that is a good intermediate step and something that you can actually use long-term without enduring any side effects. And so here are some of the benefits of using nasal strips, but really what it comes down to is that these are the benefits of not mouth breathing. I remember I used to have a dry mouth every single morning and I would just get tired throughout the day. I would have to maybe take a power nap. I didn't have this sustained focus where I could just lock in throughout the entirety of my day. And so that's why I not only use this method that I'm going to show you step by step, which is better than every nasal strip that you or I have ever tried, but I also use 3M micropore tape over my mouth to necessitate nasal breathing because it makes that much of a difference. This is something I've been doing for going on 4 years now after having read Mark Burhenna's book, The 8-Hour Sleep Paradox. Now, I did just want to include this graphic here as well, just to exemplify the proper placement of nasal strips, which more or less you're going to figure out through trial and error. And even though we aren't going to be using conventional nasal strips with this method, this still will be important for the proper placement of the 3M micropore tape, which I will demonstrate live for you. And I also have a video for you to show you this process. But before I do, I just wanted to show you everything that I have personally tried on the market. And please never make the foolish purchase that I did. These apparently magnetized nasal dilators that go inside of your nose. The method that I'm going to be doing will be leveraging magnets, but on the outside, pulling out and upward. It's not going to be occluding inside the actual nasal passages any of that airflow that we are looking for. Of course, I've used the conventional Breathe Right strips. I've tried many different variations of those, at least 5, and I've tried all of the nasal dilators that you see positioned in the upper left corner. And so now what I'm going to show you is what I actually use and highly recommend. So it's called Intake Breathing, and clearly I have no affiliation with them because I'm going to be teaching you how you can pay for their product one time and get an apparently 15-day supply and turn this into a lifetime supply by way of coupling it with micropore tape, which I use about 9 centimeters of per night. I know that seems kind of autistic, but I wanted to measure that out just so I could calculate how much money you are actually going to be saving by leveraging this process. And so I've got a video here that I'm going to be showing you basically from A to Z how to engage this process effectively. So let's get this rolling. So this is just the original packaging here. You'll be able to see 4 different sized nasal pieces. I'm using the M2 for what it's worth, which is the second to largest. Just empirically, you'll have to determine what is going to be the best fit for you. Here are all of the different adhesives with embedded magnets that they offer. These are apparently one-time uses, and you use 2 per night, 1 for each nostril. Now, this is very important. I'm removing the adhesive backing, and the goal is to liberate the magnet because that is reusable. And you're going to notice there is adhesive on one side. And you're just going to do this for 2 of the different adhesive embedded magnet combos. And you're just going to be placing those on 3M micropore tape. And then you are just going to perpetually be transferring those magnets to a new piece of 3M micropore tape every day. Now, in theory, you could even use the 3M micropore tape for several nights. It just depends on the propensity of your skin to be oily versus dry. Personally, I just like to use a fresh strip every single night just because the adhesive will be superior. Now that part there is important, and in just a second I'm going to pause this video just so I can further articulate the landscape that we're dealing with here. So the reason that that step is important is because by having that tab, by folding the tape over on itself, you're going to have something to actually grab to remove the tape. For example, if you're mouth taping, or in this case, as a nasal tape, you'll be able to more expeditiously remove it, as opposed to using your nail and really having to claw your way under the adhesive to actually liberate it. And so what I did want to draw your attention to here is the fact that each night what you're going to be doing, or you can do this in the morning, frankly, any time of the day, you're going to take each of these two magnets. You'll have to figure out the optimal distance apart for you, and you're going to be transferring them to the next fresh new piece of tape. So what I do is I've got the folded over piece here on the right, and I'm just mirroring that here. So the fresh piece of tape that I'll be transferring to, that folded over bit is on the left, and you'll notice that I'm preferentially placing these magnets close to one side. You can see these two magnets hugging this side, and that is the side that is going to be closest to the openings of your nasal passages. And so when you transfer those, you'll remove the magnet and it will leave a little bit of an indent, and that will give you a reference point for placing them here on the fresh strip of tape. Now, one of the other ancillary benefits here of folding the tape over onto itself and creating that tab is that when you do this transfer process, your fingers are going to adhere to the adhesive on the micropore tape. So it just gives you a docking station, if you will, to effectively free your finger. So before we proceed with the video, I'll just do a quick live demo showing you what it looks like once the magnets are already in place. So basically what you're going to be doing is taking the side that the magnets are preferentially located on, and those are going to go to the bottom, and I'm just going to center this as effectively as possible. The reason you do that, by the way, that you preferentially place them on one side, is that if you were to place them in the middle, the distance between, and I'll just show you here, the distance between the edge of one magnet, so let's say you place them here, right? That distance from the edge of the magnet here to the edge of the tape would be slightly more than the distance from where you want to place them on the nose to the edge of your nose. And so in other words, there would be a little bit of overlap, and it just wouldn't be as pleasant ergonomically. So once you get this placed here, you're just going to run your finger over the micropore tape, get it in place, and then you're just going to be taking, in my case, the M2 nasal piece, and you're just going to be placing it over top, and you'll see the immediate effect here. Oh my God, it's awesome. It really is. You'll be able to feel this immediately, and it will be very evident to you that this is vastly superior, wow, to anything that you've ever tried before. That is nice. And what's also nice is when you want to remove it, again, just like when I'm using this as mouth tape, you have a tab to actually grab. It's very nice. I've noticed this process isn't comedogenic. That's something that I'm always worried about, is putting things on my face, for example, and having pimples form. I haven't had any issues with this medical 3M micropore tape, and I highly recommend it. So let's get back to the video here, just so you can see this process in my bathroom. So you can see that's the adhesive side, right? So the adhesive side is actually going face up, and the non-adhesive side goes face down. That's just going to allow you to more effectively place it, and it also will result in better adhesion to your actual notes. And so in this video, I've included this angle here just to show you what this looks like. The up close and personal as well. So you can see that tab really facilitates the removal. And this is the M2 piece. You can see that nasal expansion there. Very nice. Very, very nice. So I'm just showing here how to remove it very expeditiously. So as you saw there, in theory, you could actually repurpose the 3M micropore tape as long as there's still good adhesion. This costs less than 1 penny per night. So personally, I just use a fresh strip every single night as I do mouth tape. And so what I wanted to just quickly offer you here was a cost comparison to what is regarded as the creme de la creme on the market currently, which is hostage tape. And so they offer this package here, a year supply. And I apologize for some of the cost confusion here. Some of this is in Australian dollars and some of this is in US dollars. So this is in US dollars here, whereas this up here is Australian. So in US dollars, $200 per year for mouth tape, which is 55 cents per day. And then on the next slide here, we can see $147.95 per year for nasal strips. And so now what I'm going to show you online is how you can actually get this far, far cheaper. So if you type in intake breathing, here's the nasal strip starter kit that I purchased and recommend. It's $39.99. This is a one-time cost for the magnetized nasal piece that you need. You've got the 4 different sizes. You'll find which one is optimal for you. And you've got the magnets. There will be 30 in total, but all you really need is just 2 that you're going to repurpose and recycle every single day. And 3M micropore tape. So this 3M micropore tape gives you 9.1 meters and 12 rolls for $9.20. So let's do the maths on this. We've got 9.1 meters at 100 centimeters per meter. That's 910 centimeters per roll, and you get 12 rolls for $9.20. So that's 10,920 centimeters. And you saw earlier in the slideshow that I'm using 9 centimeters per strip. Let's multiply that by 2 and assume that I'm using 2 per day. 1 for my mouth, 1 for my nose. So let's divide 10,920 by 18 centimeters, and that will be the number of days, 606 rounded up to 7 days that will last me. So $9.20 will last over 600 days. And you would spend close to $350 for hostage tape just for a 1 year, 365 day supply. So I really hope you see the power of this, why I'm so passionate about it, and why if you are somebody who has conventionally used nasal strips, why you would greatly benefit from this. Now, briefly, I did just want to show you a website that is going to offer you a plethora of other bits of information and actionable insights, such as the ones in this video today, which I'm incredibly passionate about. It is Actualization.com, and this is truly a gift from me to you. I've been on an incredible journey of personal development that I'm really passionate about, and I want you to reap the same rewards that I have from the unique information which I've been fortunate enough to over the years intercept. So this website is all things masculine mastery. There's a link at the top to navigate to articles, each one of which can be thought of another piece of the puzzle that is ever expanding and is going to give you a more holistic picture of the map that is going to help you better navigate life without getting stuck in a number of different honeypots in life. One of the honeypots that I got stuck in was just over relying on the mainstream medical system. And as a conventionally trained pharmacist, you might imagine why that might be the case, because I was indoctrinated with a pharma first paradigm. And one of the things that I'm so passionate about is putting food first, paying the farmer on the front end, not the pharmacy on the back end, in an attempt to buy back your health. There are so many articles here that are going to completely fix your physiology, optimize your endocrinology, and allow you to get the most juice out of the squeeze of this life. That's it for today, my friend. Drop a comment down below, like and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, until next time, find your freedom. Peace.